Recording. Perfect. So welcome to this case study interview. Got James with me today, and he's going to talk about his experience so far in the kinetic method. We've been working together a few months now. And yeah, welcome James to this call today.
Thanks, Mara. Happy to be here.
Yeah, let's start by, introducing yourself, like, how old you are, what you do, how many hours you work per week, so we can get a little bit of background on age, lifestyle, work schedule before we dive into, your fitness and health.
Sure. So I'm 51 years old, and single father. I have two older boys that live with me, 19 and 21 years old. I'm a CPA, and most of my career has been spent as an accountant or chief financial officer. I've had an accounting firm that I own now for about 9 years, and working on growing that and expanding it. So that's taken a lot of hours of my time between sales and service delivery and hiring a team. On average, I probably work 10 to 12 hours a day and 6 days a week, sometimes seven, but usually six.
So 6 days a week is, would you say that's like 3 out of 4 weeks per month, or 4 out of 4 weeks per month?
Probably four. Yeah.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah. For now. Yeah. I mean, until we get it to a point where I've got a team built out, it's 6 days a week. I don't usually work 10 hours on a Saturday. It's usually, 6 to 8 hours on a Saturday, but it's pretty consistent working on Saturdays.
I see. And with that work schedule, with that lifestyle, what would you say were some of the things you were struggling with before you implement the kinetic method?
Energy levels are definitely getting tough. I was struggling working that many hours, and I think when we first met, I told you that like I just woke up every morning in a fog, and it took hours for that brain fog to kind of burn off. And that was pretty consistent every day. I was definitely last in terms of priorities, like myself, my health, my nutrition. People were actually coming to me and saying, like my girlfriend and other people around me were saying, like, you don't look so good. It doesn't, you don't look healthy. Is everything all right with you? That kind of stuff. So I was definitely putting myself last and working a ton of hours just to try to build the business, and especially through COVID and everything.
Yeah, we, the industry, or, coaches that work with professionals or entrepreneurs, we hear that so often, right? And even for myself, like, if you saw today in the Facebook group, I posted my sleep score. It wasn't the best, like, I'll be the first to admit, and it's hard to make yourself a priority and put your health first, put yourself first, lead yourself first. But
Mhm.
you still picked the hard part instead of going the easy way and just dropping, the health and letting it go and saying, you know what, like, I'm doing well in business. Who
Mhm.
cares? Why was that?
It seems, and it seems that when you're in it and you see a workload, and I love lists. I'm constantly making lists of things that need to be done. And when I've got my one of them right here to my right, and when I see all these things that need to be done, it seems like that's the priority, and getting all those things done. And it's easy to say, oh, I'll just sleep a little less, or, I'll grab something quick to eat while I'm working at my desk, and it's going to be whatever's in the house that's fast. And if I, haven't done any planning, it's probably not the healthiest. And then, like, it just seems those are easy decisions to make in the short run, but they have a terrible long-term effect.
And what would you say, like, was there a moment, or yeah, moment, a point in your life this year that something happened or something shifted for you, that you say, you know what, like, let's draw a line, now or never?
Yeah, I was actually sitting here at my desk and I felt miserable. I felt absolutely terrible. And I just had this feeling like if I don't do something now, I'm 51 years old, like it's not going to get better. Like it just felt like I was on a bad path, And I want, I've always been active in my life and I want to continue to be active in my life. And the thought that I'm 51 and like this is the best shape I'm going to be in is just going to be downhill from here. And that I feel pretty awful right now and have super low energy and lethargic. The idea that I would be just in decline the rest of my life was a terrible thought. So in that moment, I said, I've got to do something. I've got to make a change. And it very much at that moment felt like, you know, this is it. Like this is my life. Like either I do it now or what are the odds that I'll ever do it and make a change? Which isn't necessarily accurate, but it very much felt that way in the moment.
And with that state that you were in, like, did you try other stuff or other solutions like diets, personal trainers, whatever that is, in the past to help you with that? Or was it just like working, 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 and you never did actually something for your health?
Yeah, I've never worked with a personal trainer before. I've always been kind of in and out of the gym. A few years ago, I was on like a program that I would find on the internet, and I'd try to do that, and it'll last like 3 months, and then it's just too much, and I'll end up like I'll skip one day, then I skip 2 days, and then I haven't gone in 2 weeks, and then it just seems like so hard to get back on track. I did actually not a one-on-one personal trainer, but I did a class for a while with like a group of men. And again, that lasted like a few months and then kind of didn't do that anymore. So I've always kind of done that off and on, but there'll be like these gaps of like a year or two in between me trying to get back in shape and sticking with something for a little while, but then just work, especially we do a lot of tax work. So tax season is a really demanding time for me. So that's usually when it drops off, if no other time. Work usually takes back over.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, what would you say? Yeah, got you reaching out and ultimately working with me.
Yeah, it was that feeling of, sitting at my desk and feeling pretty desperate. I think we had connected on Facebook maybe a few weeks or a month or so before that, and I'd been following, a lot of the stuff you'd been posting. It made a lot of sense to me. And the fact that, I mean, you worked with guys in my situation, my thinking was, hey, I'm going to reach out to this Morrow guy and see what he has to say. Maybe he does know something that I don't, or maybe it's the catalyst I need to kind of get out of the situation and the direction I'm heading right now.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I know we touched on that a few times. So were you skeptical when you reached out? Like,
Yeah.
I'm very busy. I'm not sure if I can really make this ever a priority.
Yeah, so I mean, well, skeptical for a couple of reasons. Like I've been in and out of the gym and I've kind of seen, crazy things that personal trainers do. So I know that, all personal trainers are not equal and there's some crazy stuff out there. So definitely skeptical just in general of the industry. And then just kind of skeptical of, I think I even told you the first time we talked, like, dude, if I have to eat nothing but rice and chicken 4 weeks at a time, this is not going to work. This is not something that's going to work for me. One, I'm too busy and I like pizza and I like cheeseburgers. And you said that you can still eat those if you want to. This isn't that kind of a program. So that was enticing to me. The fact that I had flexibility, that it wasn't, like some sort of like training for competition or something like that. It was built around your program's really built around businessmen and what businessmen need, not to be competitive bodybuilders, but to be successful businessmen and family men. So that was really enticing to me. And then, after we talked, I kind of said, I've really got nothing to lose here. I can stay in the situation I'm in now, which isn't going to get any better on its own, or I can give it a shot and give it 90 days, commit to your program for 90 days and working with you for 90 days. And I'm super glad that I did.
Super happy to have you here, and yeah, happy also for that feedback. Talking about the 90 days, everyone watching this, they always want to hear like the results. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more what you've achieved during your first 90 days?
Sure. Yeah, I was kind of my girlfriend and I were having dinner this weekend, and we were kind of recapping, like where I was when I started versus, where I am now. And I'm not going to say it was easy, but it wasn't overwhelmingly hard. And that's what I think made it really doable for me. And the way that you have your program designed is that it's incremental. So it's incremental changes. So where I started, and you had me start with just body weight exercises that felt so hard, when I first started doing some of those body weight exercises, but they got easier, and incrementally, you added to that, and my fitness ability now is so much better in such a short period of time because of the incremental nature. And the workouts are challenging, but I don't leave them drained. I usually work out in the evening, and I go get some dinner, and then I come back and work some more in the evening because I still have energy. It's not about using all my energy for the workout. So, over that time period between the nutrition program that you've laid out for me and the exercise program and the activity, I've dropped 13 pounds or 14 pounds and cut from 22% body fat to I'm at 12% body fat right now. So it's in such a short period of time, like it's been a 180 for how I feel physically.
That's great. Not many men at 51 are at 12% body fat. So
No,
we talked about this. You can count yourself as the top 5% of men alive, and you're not an athlete, right?
no, no, not an athlete. Definitely not. I feel like one lately, you know. Even just walking around the block with my dog, like I can feel my posture straighter, my stomach is flat. It just feels good to walk around in that healthy state.
I agree. There's nothing better when you feel good. Looking good aside, but when you feel good, it just reflects in every area of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely had, ripple effects everywhere in my life where I just have more energy, happier, definitely, more happy with my situation and health and life.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
When you say, yeah, let's go a little bit into that for just a moment. I know you got to jump. I got to jump as well. We both got calls here, but when you say it had, an impact on others of your life, like where did you see the most impact happen?
I think the biggest impact was, sorry, my dog's
No
barking at
worries.
squirrels today. The biggest impact is just my energy throughout the day, and my ability to approach things with energy rather than dragging myself into them throughout the day, being tired and how am I going to survive this? Now I bring kind of an energy and a vitality to my day and my meetings with clients and prospects. And that success, I think just that ability to approach things with energy and vitality has increased my success in business, because I'm able to have better conversations.
It's great to hear. Yeah, it's ultimately I know what you do, and you've introduced yourself at the beginning, so people also know a little bit about your background. And we're in a day and age where we sell ourselves, right? We are a personal brand, and even if we work for a company, like yeah, the first impression is a sale, and it's a big one. And if you can show up, as you said, energetic, vital, certain, you're just gonna ultimately have a bigger, influence over the people on the opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. And almost always, when I'm talking to a prospect, they're comparing me to other accountants, you know. So if I come, you know, on my A game with energy and the answers they need, that you know eliminates the competition.
Perfect. What would you say were some of the reactions from the people in your environment?
So it's fun. You know, both of my kids are active, and it's kind of given us a common ground in our relationship, which is cool. My girlfriend is super happy. You know, both that I'm kind of improving my health. She was worried about me 6 months ago, and she's happy now that I've kind of turned that around, and I'm a lot healthier. And she's very active too, so it gives us a common ground in our relationship where, you know, she's got a activity tracker, you know, that she wears now too, and we compete on how many steps we get, and you know, on weekends we try to get more activity together and go for longer walks. So it's been a lot of fun.
It's amazing. Yeah, when not just you, but the people around you are ultimately, yeah, impacted, influenced by your behavior, or even further. Now it's a competition in a good way. That's perfect. Would you also say like the kinetic method is something you can do for the rest of your life?
Oh,
Or
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not a training program for a weightlifting competition or anything like that. It fits really well into my lifestyle. Um, you know, it's not, there's no part of it really that is super difficult. Like the tracking, a lot of the tracking of, I call it the health KPIs is really automatic. The nutrition, you know, helps me and gives me more energy. It takes a little bit of planning, but that planning is well worth the time spent in terms of what I get back out of that. And same with the exercise. The exercise is only 3 days a week. It's less than an hour each time, and that fits really well into my schedule. It took a little tweaking, like we shifted it around, you know, a few different times over the past few months. But once we found like those times that work for me, like it works great, and fits into my schedule really well. It's not cumbersome.
awesome. Yeah, because that's the most important thing. If you can stick to it, then what's the point of doing it even for 90 days?
Exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant. So one last question before we end this conversation. For someone watching this, might be a little bit on the fence and telling themselves, "Well, I don't know that fitness guy on the internet. Should I do it? Should I do it myself?" Like, what would you say to that person?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I don't know what might have, you know, shifted me more in the beginning, but you know, I've I've been in business a long time, and I've had coaches and mentors for different things over the years. And you know, we all have blind spots, and we don't know it all. And kind of, I think the best way to really improve that knowledge and improve, and especially see those blind spots, is to work with somebody that has maybe worked with, you know, 100 other people in the similar situation and see that timeline of progression. And you know, for fitness, that's you know, for health and fitness, you know, you've worked with a lot of guys, you know, in the same situation, and you know what it takes to be successful without sacrificing the business. So, you know, I would say, you know, most successful businessmen probably have coaches in other areas in the business, and it just makes sense, you know, to have a coach in this area. And you know, I don't have to go find workouts that I think are going to work for me. I don't have to go, you know, do a ton of nutrition research. Like, you've mapped all that out so that I can be successful by, you know, following your guidance and your program. So that would be my advice.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this, giving
Sure thing.
everyone a little bit, yeah, for you where you at, where you were, where you're at now, and what some of the results were that you have achieved. So yeah, appreciate you being here, and it's been a great time so far. Thank you, James.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mauro.